Thank you very much. And you were so gracious to tell me a bit about your royal family, so I'll give you some of our royal background.
Thank you.
We are from the Nubia Kushite line, so I'm a Nubia Kushite from the Kush throne. Our family region covers the south of Libya, the southern part of Sudan, and the northern part of Sudan, the southern part of Egypt. But that is the home region of the throne. It's not the throne itself. The throne itself of Kush covered all of the African continent, into the Americas, into India. It's a throne whose forefather was Nimrod. Nimrod was the son of Cush. Cush was the son of Ham. Nimrod's daughter was Shebah the first. And from Shebah the first, all the pharaohs and the kings and queens of our ancient empire became. From those empires, with the expansion of it formed more and more kingdoms and settlements throughout Africa. From there, you have the ancient Nok, the Yorubas, the Hausas, the Fulanis, forming the kingdoms covering Nigeria and those regions. So you're a direct descendant of the ancient line of kingdoms, and the only kingdom line that has never been broken. So that is very, very brief history about the kingdom and the kingdom line.
Thank you.
My grandmother was Irish Mary II, and we are also from the lines of King Abdul Shebah and Pharaoh Rebel Ture III, and the great ancestral line of Tao I, which covers just about every black pharaoh in between those lines, and Tahakwa, Sabaka, Yankee, and the Queen of Sheba, who was before the second, whose actual name was Zasabado. Her father's name was Zasabado, and her name was Makiba. And she became the queen at 15 of the throne of Sheba, but her name was not Sheba. It's the throne of Sheba, yes. So that is the lines which we're all a part of.
Thank you very much. I want to know further about the foundation itself, because I heard you talk about foundation of African kings and queens, princes and princesses coming together. I would love for you to brief me more on that, please, Your Majesty.
The African continent kings and queens, as earlier explained, the historical ancestral line, are today here as they were yesterday. That line has never been broken. It means as well, it's not a matter that we have a royal title and a royal history and a royal ancestry. It also means we have a royal responsibility. And that responsibility has not been changed because of the trials and the tribulation during the history of Africa until now. It means the responsibility is even greater now, and the challenges are even greater now. So we have to go back to understand the purpose of the foundation now. When the first countries or national countries in Africa was formed within the kingdom territories, because that is how it became. A part of the constitution that the then pre-governments had to agree to in order to become free states was the constitution around the kingdoms had to be changed. Therefore, kings, queens, sultans, emirs, whoever of royal blood at that time had thereafter to be called, to be seen, to be accepted, and to respected now as chiefs. The whole power of the kingdoms was targeted to be broken. The national countries were formed, but the national countries were formed based on that change in the traditional relationship within Africa, because the kingdoms were seen as a threat, not to the national government, but to the external control. It did not take away from the influence and the power of the kingdoms, because until today we still have the kingdoms in Africa. And they're still exercising their purposes in Africa. In 1962 we had the OAU that was formed. In 1999 we had the AU legislation that was drawn up. In 2002 the AU that was formed. With that, the kingdom, or federation I called, that the kingdoms must also have a federation formed to support and to umbrella all the kingdoms in Africa as a unity. because the kingdom has a collective power. They have a collective responsibility. But they cannot exercise that responsibility if they do not have the platform on which to do it. And so the NGO was formed, Imperial House Foundation. It means Imperial Kingdoms Foundation. A foundation that was formed to represent each and every African kingdom and of royal blood, to support them in the facilitation of their responsibilities as monarchs. The federation was then formed to support the respective kingdoms within the respective regions with the tools necessary to be a good king, to be a good queen, to do their responsibilities. The foundation's second part was the development agenda, which means working with countries outside, working with the international governments, getting the international acceptance from those governments in order to execute a development agenda that holds in 100% participation by the kingdom, 100% voice of the kingdoms in collaboration with the national governments. That's the basic.
Okay. So I heard you talk about poverty alleviation. Is the foundation into poverty alleviation programs?
That is the total purpose of the foundation.
Okay.
You cannot change poverty in Africa if you do not have the participation of the kingdom rulers of Africa. If you do not have a cooperative working between the kingdoms and the government, because Africa is one family. It's one family.
Yes.
Every African belongs to a specific tribe. Every tribe is a nation. Every nation a part of a kingdom. You're one family. And all the collective kingdoms belong to one kingdom. It's called the kingdom of God.
Yes.
So, therefore, you must have unity in order to effect the poverty eradication on the African continent. And by that, you have, for example, the kingdoms in the rural regions.
Yes.
They need an infrastructure necessary for them to build commerce, to build trade. You need water infrastructure necessary for the farmers to be able to facilitate their purpose as farmers. You need seedlings for the planting of the crops. All of this has to be addressed. If that is not addressed, it means you will have a consistent domino effect of poverty, because the people of the rural regions are then forced to go to the urban regions looking for work. It means the farmlands deteriorates. It means for the government there's an influx of population within the city, and they have to cater for housing, the medical care, and everything else that goes to par with that. So it means the problem goes from one region into a smaller region, where you have a major problem now which could be alleviated if we develop the rural regions. In order to do that, it means we must focus as African nation, not one state, but the trans-African nation, on the infrastructure. If the infrastructure is changed, if we have the necessary roads, the necessary railways, it means commerce starts. And once we have the commerce, the injection of commerce, it means we are on the first leg of the road to alleviate poverty.
Sorry, because of time.